Hey YouTube, what's happening? It's Richard, founder of Short Term Rental University and Airbnb Superhost. It's tax season. You must be going through all your paperwork and getting it to your accountant and CPA. And here's my methodology and process that I've streamlined over the years to make this process easy, quick, reliable, and just good. So let me take a step back and storytell like way back in the day. Now, many of you might be feeling the same sort of anxiety now. It's, middle of March. We have 30 days until we have to file our taxes, April 15th. And so the way that I felt back then was overwhelmed, anxious, nervous. I just knew that I had expenses and I didn't know where the receipts were. And it was particularly challenging because I would have properties that were remote and I would meet with the landscaper and he'd hand me a piece of paper and I don't know where that paper went. And then I'd have things that were on credit cards and checks I wrote. And so it was just, very unorganized, all completely legitimate. But then the burden of me figuring it all out, putting it all together, going through like a shoebox stack of receipts and figuring out which went to which property. It just was an absolute nightmare and it like weighed on me. I didn't really enjoy it at all. I was always behind the 8 ball. My accountant always wanted the paperwork first, and I'm sure that there were expenses that were perfectly valid and legal that we should have expensed that just never quite made it on the tax return. And so I started to think about a better way of doing it, and at work at one of my financial firms, we started to scan things, and that was the aha moment, the transformative moment, and I want to share that with you. So before we get started, let's just go over some of the equipment and services that I use, and I'll include all of them in the link below. But the first piece of equipment, which is an absolute lifesaver, I swear by it, I've owned many of these and I continue to buy them, is this bad boy, the Fujitsu Scan Snap. It's amazing. It detects whether it's black or white, it detects automatically whether it's single-sided or double-sided, and it's one button and it saves it to Dropbox. So I use Dropbox also. The second thing I want to talk about is Xero. You could use QuickBooks, or there's a ton of different software that's in the cloud, but I go ahead and I also upload the same document that I just saved into Xero, which is my bookkeeping and accounting software, and then I enable my CPA to have access to that also. So now let's go through what actually happens in real time. So if I go and I meet with, say, my landscaper in Alabama and he hands me an invoice and I cut him a check, I take that piece of paper and I put it in a folder, and when I get back to New York, I scan it immediately. And when I save that document, I save it to my Alabama folder under either invoices or landscaping. You can figure out how you want to do it yourself. I have the date and time, it's automatically recorded, and so that's where it lives if I ever need to find it. At the same time, when I go ahead and cut the check to my landscaper and pay for it, I upload that same document to Xero, so for every single check, I have the invoice associated with it right there. As much as possible, I try and shy away from paper. I really don't like it. I can lose it. I have papers all over the place, so I try and shy away from it. So I encourage as many bills and or services like landscapers to email me, and then that saves me the Scan Snap. I already have a PDF, and then I just save it to Dropbox and also Xero. So why is this important? Well, first off, because every single thing is happening in real time. I have real-time P&Ls, so that helps me stay on top of my business. But also, my bookkeeper is asking me questions along the way so that when he sees something that he's unaware of or he doesn't know exactly how to categorize it, he can ask me, and since it's happening in real time, I very much remember the meeting that I just had with the landscaper not 10 days ago, and I can tell him what it is. But when it's 365 days forward, hey, last March 2017, what was this check? Was it for landscaping? Was it for an improvement? Was it for a repair? If I didn't have the document and I didn't have it done in real time, it's really hard for me to recollect what that was, especially when you're running multiple properties. So the concept is do it all in real time while it's fresh in your memory, have access to your bookkeeper so he can ask you questions, and then also your CPA so that they can go ahead and start to prepare all their taxes in real time also. And a side benefit is I'm extremely organized in the cloud. So when I go and apply for a mortgage or a car loan or anything else that requires some sort of documentation of my income, I have all of my K1 scanned, I have all of my 1040s, I have all of my W2s, I have all the 1099s, I have everything that they would ever ask already scanned, ready to go, and I can fill out any application with all the supporting documentation like that. So look, paying taxes is never fun, the process itself, but it doesn't have to be as bad as it was. I've improved mine a ton. And the reason we decided to film this video is twofold. One, it's tax time, and two, we just had lawyer Clint Coons on our podcast, which was amazing. I will include that link below too. If you want more ideas and suggestions on how to structure your business and tax related items, listen to the podcast. It was also really cool, and big shout out thanks to Clint. He then participated on a Facebook Live with our paid members and answered their specific questions. So great value added, and that's why we're in the studio right now filming a tax related tip for everyone else on the YouTube channel. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give me the thumbs up, and please go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Do it now, and the podcast. Tons of great content. Happy hosting. Good luck with tax season. Get it done and make it better for next year. Start now. Get that bad boy.